Do you ever feel like you might have an extra chromosome? Like there's no way I can be this stupid without being... Well, you're in luck. There might still be a chance for you. What if I told you one of the world's most renowned astronomers in history was a total idiot who literally lost his nose, drunkenly killed his pet moose at a party, and died because he refused to go to the bathroom? This is the story of Tycho Brahe. So just like a lot of other people, Tycho was born. He spawned in 1546 on the map Scania, Denmark, which looks like this. And this dude's family was absolutely loaded. They were basically like flicking royalty. But it didn't really matter because Tycho was not going to remain with his parents much longer. At the age of 2 years old, this dude was kidnapped by his uncle Jorgen, or Jorgen. I don't know how to really speak OG white people language, but Jorgen, more like Jorgen. Anyway, Tycho did get kidnapped by his uncle, and his parents, for some reason, just let it happen. I'm starting to think that parents back then just didn't like their kids, because this seems to be a reoccurring theme. But luckily for Tycho, his uncle was also loaded. He got him access to some of the best schooling in the world, and at age 13, his brilliance really started to shine through. You see, Uncle Jorgen wanted Tycho to study law, but one day Tycho looked at the sky and saw an eclipse going on, and he was like,
"Spectacular, give me 14 of them right now."
So obviously Tycho falls in love with astronomy, and at the age of 17, he begins finding flaws. So at the time, there were things called star charts. They were kind of like maps of our solar system, and these were like the Bible for astronomers at the time. So he would go home every night and search up Sophie Rain XXX Big. Anyway, he would go home every night and find out that some of the patterns on these star charts were off by weeks or even months, just by looking at the sky. Not to mention, 500 years later, this is still accurate. I guess you could say he was seeing in the 2020s.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no. That's actually hilarious.
Anyway, Tycho was also so dumb, and for some reason, like as he got older, his decisions just seemed to get worse and worse. So the antics began when he was 20 years old and got into an argument with his cousin about a math problem. Fucking nerds. Apparently, there might have been a prostitute involved, which is pretty cool. I imagine the argument probably went something like this, though.
Looks like you're good at math.
I'm good at math? Yeah, well, I know that you look like you weigh about 250 pounds. I can count that.
Anyway, they were so heated that they decided to duel each other with swords. And Tycho lost his nose. Yeah, this dude literally got his nose chopped off. And then he replaced it with a bronze prosthetic. And if he didn't like somebody, he would take the prosthetic off and use it to fling boogers at them. And not to mention, during this time, Tycho was a bit of an alcoholic, and he had a pet moose that he would feed alcohol. And unfortunately, this lit animal's life came to an end exactly how you would expect it to. Tycho brought it to a party, got it so hammered that it tripped down the stairs and fucking died, bro. Now let's fast forward about 10 years in 1576 when King Frederick II gifted Tycho a whole island to study the stars. During his time on the island, he proved Aristotle's work to be complete garbo and inspired many new astronomers by charting nearly 800 stars with insane accuracy. However, things got a little freaky on the island, which actually went on to inspire guys like, yeah, I honestly wish I was kidding. Tycho designed his observatory like a fortress with trapdoors. He even had a midget sidekick that lived under his dining room table and would feed scraps to. Not to mention, the midget was dressed like a jester, which went on to inspire YouTube channels like Jester. Anyway, the crazy part about this whole thing is it's rumored that the guy who gave Tycho this island, King Frederick II, yeah, Tycho might have been screwing this dude's wife the whole time. It was a rumor, but hey, Tycho was a dog, so I don't doubt it. But as time passed, Tycho continued to butt heads with the royals of Denmark and somehow got exiled. He fled to Prague, where he ended up spending the rest of his days stargazing until he died. So yeah. Let's talk about how he died. At a royal banquet in 1601, Brahe pulled up, most likely hammered, and he had to piss so bad, but he refused to leave the table. Maybe because of etiquette, maybe because the toilets back then were just holes with poop in them and probably smelled horrible. Maybe he just didn't want to break the seal. I don't know. This dude held in his piss for so long that his bladder bursted. and he died. Legend. I love telling this story because it shows that you can be the biggest degenerate on earth, yet still be renowned as one of the most influential people ever. My biggest takeaway from his findings scientifically is that we can party with animals. Anyway, make sure to tell this story to somebody who's an alcoholic. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment the craziest thing you've seen at a party. See you guys in the next one.